You are now listening to another episode of the Chanel and Alan Chit Chat Podcast with your hosts, Chanel Marshall and Alan Byrne.
You're very nice. You're looking very spotty audio dopalicious. Very good. I like that.
Thank you very much. Thank you. One does try, trying to mix it up a little bit,
Keep it fashionable. You have, you said maybe we were talking about working with children earlier on without going into specifics. You kind of have a Cruella de Vil look about you today, I would say.
Thanks. Thanks.
You look like you might have used to own a lot of Dalmatian puppies, perhaps.
Thank you. These are actually bloody pineapples, cheeky bastard. These are actually pineapples.
Yeah. That's like me with, remember, listen, you can't fucking expect me to know any pattern recognition. My own top had prawns on it that I thought were fucking flamingos for like 2 years, or however often I changed my shirts. So, through a webcam. So no, you're not the evil, what's it called? The evil cartoon lady who killed a bunch of puppies. You just slaughtered a bunch of pineapples for your pineapple
she didn't do
coat.
it. Technically, she didn't do it.
Here we go, the Cruella apologists. Here they come.
Don't want to be taking it, got to take accountability for the things that you actually did, So yeah, she didn't do it. She had her henchmen do it. This has been bothering me, right? So
Cruella de Vil's been bothering you.
No. Do you leave your toilet lid, right? Your toilet lid, do you leave it open or do you close it?
I leave it open because I'm a man and I live by myself and I'm a slob. So
okay.
I leave it wide open. Wide open! I'd take it off if I could.
I don't understand people who leave the toilet seat up, and especially if they have their toilet and their actual bathroom, it's in one.
Yeah.
If it's separate, whatever, do whatever you feel in it. But if you leave it open and you flush it while it's open,
you're gonna get splashback.
Right, and then you have particles that have to be in the air, and then you end up with fecal matter on your toothbrush. Why do people? How? Even they have the adverts, the Febreze advert. Yeah, and she's talking about, oh yes, that it's this new air freshener they're trying to sell people, and they're like, oh, if you put this in your bathroom, and basically she flushes it while the freaking toilet's obviously open, and it's meant to combat and neutralize these particles that come out of the toilet.
Okay, so
yeah, okay, whatever, yeah. But my whole point is, why would you flush with it open? I don't understand. I don't get why you would flush.
I know where you're coming from. Now,
I don't know.
I'm not sure if you remember, we have touched on this topic once before, not on the podcast, but just in general in life, which is good. It's good to know that we've known each other for long enough now that we're starting to cycle back to the old favorites and quality. But yeah, this is, and I remember I sided with you at the time, and I still side with you. I think you're right, but I think what it is it's to do with how much you're worried about fecal matter in the air, but also about how far you think that the projectile range of that is. Because my thinking is there's not a lot. I think you don't get a lot of, because I don't have pink eye. I don't have fucking shit breath. Well, actually, no, hang on. Fucking looking back to the archives, I literally had an episode where I talk about how shitty my breath stinks before I went out. But that was because I didn't brush my teeth. There we go. Off the hook. Yeah, I think people underestimate or maybe overestimate the amount of splashing that's happening. I don't know.
No, but I
mean, you're right. You're right. But I just...
If you do, I know, because I am, thank you. But if you do a number 2, right?
Yes, I'm aware. Yes.
I don't want to see that going back at me, going when you flush it. It fighting against the current. I don't want to see that. So that's why I will shut the lid. I will shut the lid. I don't understand people that leave it open. I don't get it. It makes me feel as well if I go into someone's house and the toilet is open, it makes me feel like, so how much poop particles am I inhaling? You know, like why would you just leave it open? Why would you just do that?
I know what you're saying. I mean, I kind of don't have a leg to stand on. I agree with you. The only thing I would say is like, I don't.
Come on, defend it.
I don't. You're implying that if the thing is open, that then the person's kind of, you know, but with a pair of binoculars looking into it. I don't also watch my poo do whatever dance thing you did, which, by the way, I'm going to make a promotional clip, you just pretending to be a piece of shit, just because it's amazing. You're too good at that.
Roll.
You have, that's not the
Toilet
first
roll
time
in there
you've
as
done
well,
that.
like, there's toilet roll too. Against the current.
This is so funny, right? Because I was talking to my friend, my American friend, the other day, and she said, "I listened to your podcast; it was very good." And she said, "Do you guys always talk about like, yes, there we go, compliments again. Do you always talk about like, you know, serious issues and like race stuff?" I was like, "No, we talk about other funny, stupid stuff as well. Case in point, a literal conversation about." I was like, so yeah, if you're coming for nothing but serious politics talk, you might be a little thrown off. It's not always
a little bit.
But I mean, that's not the first time you've done that mime. You're way too good at it. You must have been entertaining your nieces by being like, "Do you ever think about what a piece of food looks like?"
Yeah, no, but it does confuse other people, especially if you've done a real stinker, right? Why would you leave the lid open just to bask in the funk? Why would you just
bask in the funk? That is awful. But yeah, I know. But I suppose again, if you close the lid, does it really defunkify things that much?
It takes a bit of it away.
It takes it like anything. We'll take whatever margin of cover we can get.
Like, whoa, yeah.
I know what you're saying. And I you know, controversial stance, not a big fan of poo smells myself. And now, right, there you go. Just putting out there. I know we're probably going to lose a few listeners over this new stance, but I'm standing up. I say no to poo smell. I don't want it near me. If that makes me a pooist, I'm sorry. But what I have is I have incense. I burn incense in my bathroom. So maybe I don't. No, I do flush. God, that would be awful. I'm not endorsing not flushing. I never flush. I never flush.
You got floaters. You got floaters in your loo.
Floaters is the worst.
Oh my days! Speaking of that, I'm about to get real graphic now. So when me and my friends, it's about to get real shitty. We was in Mexico, right, and for my friend's wedding. So in the hotel, and you know, like you have like the communal toilets, like just dotted around, obviously, in like an all-inclusive hotel and stuff.
Oh right.
So we must have,
like the lobby hotel or the toilet or whatever.
Yeah. So me and my friend at the time, we went into the toilets and we're like, "Oh, we'll go down a wee. All right, let's go in." And then we opened one of the doors and was like, "Oh, that looks a bit messy in there." Nah. Opened one door, she went in, she was like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "What the hell? Like, what?" And she was like, "Wow, you need to see this." And I was like, "I don't want to." And she was like, "Nah, you need to see it because this doesn't make any sense."
For your life.
When I went, like, I opened the door and I was like, when I mean this thing was like this long, and I'm not lying. It couldn't go down the toilet. It couldn't go because it was too long.
Okay,
and
someone had done the full snake kind of, yeah.
I was just like, how did that person walk out of here? Like, they must have been.
How did they walk into there? Yeah.
Like, I swear, it felt like it looked like a length of a spine. It was just like, wow, how, and this will stay with me until I leave this earth. That
can't unsee it, man.
Was
you can't
massive.
Unsee it.
Like, you know, you try and be like, oh, yeah, sorry.
Wipe it out. I can't wipe it out.
It was so long. It was
now, but here's my question, right? Let's just say, let's dig into this poo, so to speak. And it comes to, if you see a huge shit like that, right? Which happens.
Yeah.
Sorry, my speaker. Which happens. You have it. Do you think that came from somebody who was themselves huge? Or do you think there's some like skinny stealth shitters out there who are able to put it down? Second category. Okay. Yeah, that's what I think too. Because I think it's never, the people that, hey, as with life, the people who are the most full of shit don't always look like they're the most full of shit. Hey, nice metaphor. And in some cases, they look like they're full of shit, and they are. So I'm not saying it's always one way, but that was in a hotel in Mexico. But is that the most disgustingest bathroom you've ever come across, Chanel, or have you come across worse?
That one sticks in my mind.
Maybe.
And that one sticks in my mind. I think I have come across one where it was like someone had vomited from their ass.
Oh, just kind of a diarrhea explosion kind of vibe.
Yeah. It was just literally just like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I've caught something just being here, like just by opening that public toilet door and going, what?
Whoa.
Yeah.
The end of the world, just someone's world just ended in here. That's what I think as well. I think about the poor person who must have it basically dissolved. You know what I mean?
But yeah, I think that's the main word that sticks with me. And then obviously, like in public toilets, you get people that are just nasty and just don't care. Especially female toilets, you think like, come on, guys, we're supposed to be like, more like hygienic, more clean.
And this is, by the way, the lady propaganda we get. Men's bathrooms are disgusting. The ladies' bathrooms are like Mr. Sandman, sunshine, and fucking lollipops and little rabbits in there. Everything's pastel colored. It's not true, is it? It's bullshit.
Some, it depends. Some, but not all. Some people just like, I'm like, okay, if you're not going to sit on a toilet seat, you're going to hover, right? So your squat game is strong. Okay, cool.
I respect it. I respect the squat.
Right. So like, you're gonna like probably like spray pee. You like, depending on how your stream is, you're gonna like get it on the toilet seat. How hard is it for you to turn around after you've either, if you drip dry or whether you wipe, whatever, to turn around and just wipe that toilet seat? How hard is it? Why did I come and have to see all of that on the toilet seat? It's just disgusting.
This is where I 100% agree with you. Unless it's a case where there's no toilet paper or something, maybe that's the only that's never the case. It's like you go in, like, hey, listen, people go in their own way. You do you poo you. You do you pee you do what you need. Like, people have different ways. The great thing about taking a shit as well is like, you don't really ever know how anybody else does it, because it's not like you're just in a communal shit trough, which would just sound to be a nightmare. Although I was once, and anyway, we'll get into that in a second. But fun times. But Alan's past is back to haunt him again. Like when you let loose the fury of the gods, right? After the fact, I'm like, whatever happens, happens. But I'm like, how exactly? Just like you, how hard is it just to go tissue, wipey wipe? I'm not even saying disinfected. I'm not saying boiling water and fucking Dettol. I'm just like, give me a courtesy wipe. You know what I mean? Don't just. Men's bathrooms are bad for that, man, as well. They just you deal with it. It's rough, man. It's rough.
Yeah, I don't. I just think to myself, like, what does your house look like then?
See, this is the thing. I think people are just like public. When they're in public, they just turn into animals. That's it, man. They're just like,
yeah, I guess.
Train station, which is terrible. I'm like, why can't you just treat this the way you treat your own home? But then maybe it's even darker, Chanel. Maybe if you went to their home bathrooms, they'd be just as fucking appalling. But I don't think so. I don't think so. I think
it's like, I think
the
it's
tragedy
just-
of the commons.
I think it's probably also is like what you've been taught, because
Who's teaching
like
that?
just for instance, no, what you've been taught and what you haven't been taught, because just by like, if I go to use something that is public or whatever, I'm still going to treat it as if it was my home, or if I was using someone's toilet. Like,
Sure.
I'm not going to be
Same.
like, oh, well, it's public, so screw it.
Same.
I'm going to just like, even when you go to restaurants, even it could be simple as McDonald's. My mum's always taught me that when you finish eating, you put your stuff on the tray and you go put it in the bin.
You bin it. Yeah.
Right. You don't just leave it on there and then just be like, well, that's what the people are paid for.
Yeah.
Like, you're not tipping them. Do you get what I mean? It's not like you're a 6-star restaurant where they're going to come over and you can tip them at the end. You know?
Wait on me, servant. I am Lord of McDonald's. It's just like, you just spent like £2.20 on a burger and chips. You're not exactly the queen.
But yeah, I think it's like what you've been taught, because even like when we've been out, and I think it's out with, I think it might have been my niece or something, and when she was younger and she threw up and we was in a public place, and normally people would just be like, oh, okay, well, she threw up, guys, like, here, get your cleaner to come and do it. My mum was like, no, it's fine, I'll do it. But like, it's my child, clean it up. I'm not going to just leave it to you. But I think it's, I think it does go like what you've actually been taught.
Yeah, I think
like the level of respect that you would have for the fact that facility doesn't need to be there. It doesn't have to be there. They're supplying you that facility. Why would you not like have respect? Just don't be nasty.
It's an interesting attitude as well. I mean, it is literally, and again, it's like it kind of connects back to sort of what we're talking about. Like, you only know like what percentage of people are actually doing that. It might not actually be that high, but you only like you're only going to remember the fucking nightmare zone toilet. You know what I mean? You're not going to remember the time when you went in and you're like, oh, someone did wipe the seat, or oh, it is clean. So it's like, what?
Oh my God, I just remembered.
Oh Jesus.
Right.
I'm worried.
Sorry to cut you off. Right.
You just look like you fucking saw the face of Christ. You just look like Jesus came floating in the window.
So, right, when I used to work at a storage company, when we had like the first kind of like recession, wasn't it the first? I think it's kind of like the second one, I think. And they had to make cuts. So originally we had a cleaner. Each storage company had their own cleaner, right?
Yeah.
And they would go around, they clean the toilets and obviously like the loading bay and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So when they was like, now we have to get rid of our cleaner, we're only going to have one cleaner for like all of the stores. So when he's not here, you guys have to clean the toilets and like do the sweeping up and whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, that was fine. Well, it wasn't fine because I was just like, what the fuck?
Well, I mean,
anyway.
Not ideal, but yeah, I got you.
So I was just like, okay, all right. So one of the toilets was, you had two toilets, the men and the female, and then the male toilets, obviously it was a man, went in there one day, and when I mean, they shat up the whole of it, like, it's like in a cartoon, right? And it was blocked.
Like, it was full of shit. Or everywhere's covered in shit, or the bath, or just the toilet. Like, what's our shit coverage ratio?
The toilet was like, it was literally like the toilet seat, the lid, the back, the actual grooves, and when you lift the lid, that was shit. The toilet was blocked, full of shit.
Oh my god!
And I was like, fuck no. I was like, there's certain levels, the stuff that I will do.
Yeah.
You don't pay me enough to do that.
Beyond
because
the call of duty.
Right, duty. Like, unless you are, as CEOs and directors are going to come down and tell me that you would clean that, I'm not doing it. Like, I follow that example of if I'm not willing to do it, I don't expect someone else to do it. And I was just like,
No.
That's what it's out of order, mate. I'll lock that.
We need a professional in here. We need like guys in hazmat suits with them big hoovers then you need some
Like,
Ghostbuster looking motherfuckers to deal with that.
It was so bad. And then
That's
not
rough,
even
man.
it. Like, just at this place. So that was one. Then someone had decided to put a shitty nappy in just a normal waste bin. You know, just a normal little waste bin that you'd have, like, you buy their hand of tissue and they put it in there. A shitty nappy in that, and there were tiny toilets.
Quality.
Okay, so had to deal with that. Okay. Then we had toilets which were for the 24-hour customers. So obviously while we were closed, they would use those toilets, whatever.
Oh, I see, yeah.
I went in there one day and I was like, went in there because you have to open it up, just check there's no one in there. And I went in and I was like, what is that smell? What is that? Looked around, I looked in the toilet's fine, and I'm like, okay, what is that? I could not figure it out. I'm like, what is that?
There's nothing worse than a nasty smell where you can't find it. It's like a horror film. It's got to be here somewhere. It's somewhere. It's like, you know, it's horrible.
And it was like a high, pungent fish urine smell. It was just like, ugh, it was horrible. Couldn't figure out what happened. Someone had decided to piss in the bin.
Ah, the classic piss in the bin when the toilet isn't enough. Piss.
The toilet was there. The toilet was there, and they chose to piss in the bin.
You know,
and it was just like, what the hell?
Ugh,
like,
fishy.
And the bin was tiny. It was like, it was a tiny little bin like this, just for tissues.
Yuck.
And they decided that they were going to piss in the bin.
Rough, man. Rough.
Animals, absolute animals. Just like,
people,
what the hell?
this is it, Chanel, because I like to have a very optimistic view of humanity, but then I'm faced with the shit-covered toilet. Then I'm faced with the bin full of piss, and I think, how can I square these two concepts? That's so awful. But I was like, with toilet stuff, it's, I was thinking as well, like, people have sex in bathrooms as well, right? I'm just like, hey, listen, I'm a man, and men are known for being, notoriously horny or whatever the words are. Maybe women are the same. I don't know, but that's stereotype. How horny would I have to be to have sex in a public bathroom, even in a bar? Even in a nice fucking establishment. Do you know what I mean? Firstly, just getting your angles right is going to be a pain in the ass. But then secondly, a pain in the ass, literally. But then hey, watch. We've all done the accidental, whoops, wrong hole. And that's no fun for anyone.
Wrong hole, fool.
But like, I'm like, I'm trying to think. I don't think there's a woman hot enough on this planet. I don't think there's a woman I find attractive enough on this planet. On planes as well. Planes' toilets are tiny as anything, and they stink. That's amazing. The Mile High Club, I believe is the terminology. The fact that exists as not just like a once-off story, but as an ongoing trope that's amazing. When I'm in there, I'm like, this is so uncomfortable and small, and I'm just trying to. If as a man, you probably don't know as a woman, but as a man, because of the ceiling, you end up you piss like that almost. You're kind of aiming. You have to sort of do what's the word? Conga. When you go into the bowl? What's that called?
Oh, limbo.
Limbo, yeah. Conga. You do a conga in the fucking airplane. There's six of you in there doing fucking. Coming out of your Mile High Club, fucking 6. Wow, that's impressive. I'm just like, why? Like, Jesus Christ, man, you'll be on the ground in another couple of hours. Get their phone number if you're that. But the only thing I can think of is it's just the pure novelty of being like, I am having sex in the air. Does that do something, Chanel? Are we missing out? Is sex at 5 million feet or whatever it is just the best? Because I'm like, nothing else about being on a plane is good. Like, you know what I love about planes? The food. Oh, you know what I love about the planes? The fact that I have to be in a metal tube surrounded by everybody's cloud of farts. Like, what? You know what I mean? What other part of the human experience is improved by being on a plane? It would be amazing if sex was.
I think if it's a private plane, then cool, I get it.
Oh,
totally
yeah,
fine.
then,
It's going to be clean. Yeah. So
okay.
I get that.
All right,
if you've been on a private plane, I totally get it. But if you are flying commercial and it's not like the Emirates where it's like first class, upon first class, and they have those whole separate bathroom areas and all that going on.
Even their bathrooms, I've been in there. I did that once, like because when I was for business trip, they had to bump me up to first class, and I was just like, they're gonna find out I'm not supposed to be here for the whole time. I was like, they're gonna rumble me. They're gonna be which type? They'll ask me which type of caviar would you like, sir, and I'll be like, I don't know, and they'll be like, you get him out of here. He's not one of us. But even then, the bathrooms are small. But I mean, the bed things are cool. The weird lying.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So that's the only thing I could think of. Like no. I personally, I'll just be like one of those people that say, do you know what? There's no FOMO there. There is no fear of missing out.
I do not.
I'm happy to say I will not be part of that club unless I'm on a private plane. And even then, I'm still just like, it's not necessary.
Hey, listen, I'm fucking...
It's not necessary. Like, the ground is fine.
The ground is fine. I don't want how high is your bed? About half a meter. I'm perfectly happy staying in the half a meter club. That's where I am. Come fly with me. No, not into it. I mean, I guess air hostesses are attractive, but they're the last people who are going to want to have sex with you in a fucking in a toilet anyway. And then even then, everything's ruined. Planes ruin everything. Anyway, it's fine. Coronavirus means there's no more air travel, so now it's just it'll just be the boat club. You know, having sex in a fucking ferry bathroom is going to be the new in. But yeah, the worst. So you've never then, Chanel, talking about squat game, have you ever used a non-traditionally Western toilet, like a squat toilet, or the ones that are a hole in the ground, essentially?
No. So when I was in Jamaica, and we went and visited some people that actually made friends out there, and I remember it's like this yesterday. So like, my niece was like about 2 at the time, and she was like, "Oh, I want to go toilet." So my sister was like, "Oh, so where's the toilet?" And then I was like, "Oh, it's there." So it's like a little shack building, skinny shack building. Yeah. And it had a little rice bag curtain, as you do. And and then so my sister took my niece in there, and my niece saw the hole and said, "No, mummy, no." And she crawled up. My sister was like, "No, mummy, no, mummy, no.
Don't leave me down there. Don't put me down there." I thought you were going to say she fell in, and then I was just going to be like, "Oh my God, man, I presume she's now in a mental hospital." I had
to just throw the whole child away and start again. But like literally, it was like
we'll get a new one. We can make a new one on the flight on the way back. Sure, fuck, get another one.
Seeing her reaction and the smell that was coming from it, I went. I needed to wee, but I went in the bush. I was like, I can't. That can't happen. I couldn't do it.
It's serious
business. I was like, no. So I don't.
You don't have first hand. You don't have first arse experience.
Yeah, and I just can't. I can't do it. It's no, because what else is, even though like there's loads of it's dug, I know they're dug really, really deep and stuff, and just the fact that for me it's like there could be something down there.
The trapdoor, like that old TV show Trapdoor, cause there's something down there. Do. Bert from fucking Trapdoor jumps up and grabs your arse.
Oh, what was it? X-Files. There was an episode on X-Files, and there was this creepy looking thing that kind of was worse looking than like the thing that was down there. But it was like had like really like sharp teeth, and it was all like.
I can't remember that one
and
now.
it came up through the toilets.
Oh, I definitely remember something coming up through the toilet. I have
like
remember
literally,
that.
like,
Yeah.
like I never forgot it. Like, but for a while, I always used to be like looking at the toilet and be kind of like,
yeah, just do a little
like let's make it real quick. Like, I need to get out of here. Like, yeah.
This is why you close the toilet lid. You're like, oh, hygiene. You're just afraid the fucking X-Files thing is gonna fucking pop up through there. There was a guy in the States, or is it in Australia, one of these places that's got mad dangerous animals, and a snake, because they come up through the toilets, and they fucking came up through the toilet and bit him right on his dick. Not even his ass. It was like, no, I'm going for the gold. Bit him right on his cock, and he was sitting down like to poop.
He thought it was another snake, innit? Maybe he was like,
I found a friend. Ah!
What are you doing here?
Like, I don't know what happened next, but you can only imagine him falling out of the bathroom, pants around his ankles, and a snake flapping wildly from his. Poor man. Well, they'll probably swelled up.
Die from the shock.
I mean, just exactly. Forget the poison. Just the pure shock of that.
Shock,
I mean,
just because you don't expect that, and then it's still hanging on.
Here's what I reckon. I reckon if you get, I was bitten by a snake once. I used to have a pet snake. It bit me on my hand a couple of times. Not my cock. Meant to be important to note. Not my dick. It wasn't that kind of pet. I think after a snake has come up through the toilet and bit you on the dick, you only go one of two ways. You either become literally afraid of everything. You're just like catatonic, you know what I mean? Or you're just like nothing will ever scare you again. Like somebody comes at you with a fucking machete, covered in blood, and you're just like, this is only about half as scary as the scariest thing that's happened to me. And you're like the fucking Terminator. It's only one or the other. No one comes out of that unchanged. No one was like, yeah, these things happen. What the fuck? Oh my God. So the squat toilet I've done. When I went to my friend's like country home out in rural China in Sichuan, and same thing, they had an outhouse that was like that. And had to use it. Just we were there for days, like there was no option really. And it's the smell, man, when shit is just like left to, because we're talking about shit smells, like your fresh shit smell is one thing. This is literally years worth of human shit all hanging out together. I mean, they're really, it's another level. It's another level of smell. That's really, once you smell it, that's boom. That's that you can't get rid of it.
I smelt it, and it's just like.
But you didn't go in, Chanel. You didn't go in.
I know, but it's like you just that blow, the blow from it when it was like, cool, when you're downwind and you're just like, you start like misfiring, like.
It really makes your face actually contort.
You're like, what is that? Like,
I was literally saying this the other day. I've never fallen into one of those toilets, but I was walking back from my house in China. They demolished this apartment block next to me. And I could get from the university back to my house by now cutting through the demolished building site. And it's China, so like there's building site. It's not like here where there's a wall to keep you out. There's just like a sign that says maybe don't go in or do whatever. We don't give a fuck, man. So I was cutting through, and it was pitch black because they just destroyed all the buildings. There was no streetlights or whatever, unlike the rest of right? So I'm walking through, kind of climbing over some rubbly stuff, and then my leg goes down a hole. And when I say my leg goes down, I mean like from my foot all the way to the top of my leg. And what it went down into was presumably the remnants of like the septic tank or something for the building. So I was fucking covered foot to like top of my leg, human shit. And yeah.
And
then
you didn't just chop your leg off and then just keep it moving. You kept your leg.
Thought about
You've
it.
got 2 legs there, Alan. What's going on? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Why
Explain
you still got 2
yourself.
legs.
Why? Yeah. Then that's the part where I pull out my wooden leg, and that's why.
Yeah.
I mean, I was lucky too. I could have got some infection or something, but I didn't injure myself.
Yeah.
And I walked back to my apartment, and I had to have my friend buy me a change of clothes just because I had no other shoes. Like this, because everything, there was no like, oh, maybe if you wash it off. No. If I'd had a Rolex on, it was gone. That's it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what I had on. It was finished. It's done. It goes in the bin. Luckily, I wasn't too far from my house. Like, I didn't have to walk down the main street. Oh, yeah. Foreigners, aren't we fun? Covered in their own shit. Coming over here. Just horrific. Yeah, but the squat toilets, you can't. The squat one as well is you have to do the squat. And I'm like, man, Asian people, because they do it from when they're little kids, like, they can bust a squat. Like, they can just sit like that for fucking hours, man. It's amazing. You see fucking like Chinese guys at the side of the road just smoking cigarettes, like just like that. Like, it's comfy for them. It's a whole different set of muscles.
But it's actually
I can't do it, man.
It's actually comfortable.
Yeah.
It's actually comfortable.
Oh,
maybe
you think
it's
because
I don't know. Maybe because I'm short. Yeah.
No.
It's really comfortable. I was doing it the other day because it's meant to be good for you. So yeah, I was doing it the other day.
Okay.
After I did my leg elevation, then I thought, oh, let's try this squat thing. I saw this thing. It's like it's meant to be good for you and whatnot.
But like
and
you said, just staying there. Are you staying squatted down? Like, yeah, man. See, if I do that for more than a minute, my legs start to shake, and I'm like, fuck this, man. I can't do this anymore. Like, I can do up and down squats, but I can't stay down. You know what I mean? That I don't know. I don't have the muscles.
So then, where are your arms? Like, what are your arms doing when you're squatting? Like,
I mean, like, literally, I've had to use squat toilets, so I'm like, kind of on my knees almost. I guess you're like leaning forward. You can't see me now, of course, when I'm ducking down.
Yeah. No, basically what you're supposed to do is like. I'm
like this, you know. I look like a Chinese soccer coach. Come on, lads, get up there now.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of what I fucking look like.
That's wrong. It's wrong.
I can't hear you with it. Thanks.
How? I said that's the wrong way to do it. That's why you feel.
Okay. So how am I supposed to do it? So
you're supposed to actually really like have your knees up, so not on your knees. Like, you haven't squat your knees enough, so you basically have to kind of like have your bum down. Okay. So you're basically, so it's like your knees are up, and then you'd actually have your arms, which basically kind of like be in like the side of kind of like your thigh / knees.
The inside bit of your knee. Yeah. I kind of know.
Yeah. So that's basically where it would be. But you're more crouching than squatting. Like
forward almost. So you're saying actually I need to let gravity do more of the work almost. I'm like fighting against it a bit. Okay. All right. Fucking hell, Chanel. I mean, it takes. I fucking lived in China for 6 years. One of these motherfuckers couldn't tell me that. I had to come to I had to have a black lady in London tell me. Do you know what I mean? Like, fuck. Thanks, China. One of you couldn't have thrown me a bone. But having said that, how many times are people... Yeah. No, they saw me try to squat down. But the other thing as well is they can all do it, so they assume that you can do it too. Because you're like, of course you can. It's like, you know, yeah, fair enough. So,
second nature.
But yeah, squat toilets. And that was bad. Squat toilet on a train that's rough, man. That's rough. Trying to keep your balance then. And that's with my bad squat posture. That's no fun. Train bathrooms are always a bit rotten anyway. Now try fucking third class on a Chinese sleeper train squat toilet.
No, thank you. I'll pass.
No. But yeah, that's it. The worst bathroom I was ever in was in the public bathrooms in Chinese transport, like bus stations in like not like a nice, not a big city, but like a small city where I used to live. It was just like, dude, there were just holes. There was all in a row. So like if you wanted to go in to take a shit, you're just like right next to somebody else. Hey, how you doing? Come here often? And I don't think I ever I did have to shit in one once. I had to. I had no chance. And I was just like, please don't let there be anyone else in here, because I'm gonna have to do my non-squat, half squat shit, and then I'm gonna have lads coming in being like, oh, how are you? I was like, so I had to do it, but luckily no one came in that time. But yeah, plenty of times I go in to take a piss or whatever, and there'd just be guys there like reading the newspaper. I'm just like, yeah, how you doing?
Why don't they have doors? Why don't they have walls? Or at least like have like, even if you're not gonna have a door at the front, like at least have like some side paneling to give you a little bit of like squatting doo-doo privacy.
That's your cultural imperialism. Why do you need doors? Why can't we all just shit together?
Yeah.
Now I will say that is rural bus station China. Most places in China are not at all like that. But that place definitely was.
No, but like even like I said, even if not doors, they could have had walls, you know, like just some little a partition just to separate you from the other shitter, you know, just to.
Hey, listen, I'm on board with it, but it's kind of like, if you get there, who do you talk to? You know, now not only am I going to do that, but I also have that conversation with the guy about putting up walls. Just shit and move on, Chanel. Shit and move on. I dropped my phone in one once. Luckily, it wasn't too much of an expensive phone. It was back in the day. That was the first phone I ever really owned. It was like the Motorola flip phones, the Razor or whatever it was called. I used to get knockoff ones of them. I would say they were knockoff. They were because they were made in China. They were literally the same. They were just half the price. I used to always buy that same phone because I lost my phone all the time. But yeah, dropped it in the toilet, and you're just like, man, just there's a split second where you're like, will I go get it? And then you're like, no, fuck no, you're not gonna go get it. What's wrong with you? Because it's a hole too. It's like a black hole because it's like porcelain. Like in the squat toilets that aren't the outdoor, like just literal hole in the ground. They're actually like porcelain, right? And it's like a black hole, and that black hole is just oblivion, man. You talking about that X-File monster? It's just 1,000 years worth of shit down there. You know, imagine putting your hand down into that. Oh, it's just no. It's no good, man. It's no good. I think that public bathroom in Yanliang, that's probably the worst, I think.
So they don't flush then?
They have, depending on the type, they're actually, I mean, I have to say, they're actually very well designed so that the poo doesn't really stick, but there's kind of water. Normally there's some of them have a flush, and some of them just have like a kind of a trickle of water thing that comes down constantly that flushes them. So it depends on where you are. So they do work. There's not, and apparently it's a way healthier way of shitting, not without the partitions. I don't think that might be healthier for digestive system. I don't think it's healthy for your mental state. Hey, Bill. Apparently it's way better to shit like that.
Yeah, because you're not supposed to, like how we supposed to do it in the Western world is incorrect because it puts too much strain on, like,
what's
vibrating? Oh, this is vibrating. I was like wondering where this vibrating was coming from. Yeah, no,
it's the world shaking because God is so upset that he's having this conversation.
Like,
stop!
Where is this coming from?
Stop.
I could feel it. Sorry, let me turn this off. Yeah, I could feel it, but it didn't feel like it's coming from my left side. It felt like it's coming from my right side. So I was really confused.
The phantom vibration.
Yeah, it's meant to be like less like distress or whatever on your rectum. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I think whatever, if you are in that squat position, then basically your guts are lined up for a straight shot out the door, more or less. Whereas when you're not, your body's having, what's that? There's a word for it. Is it peristalsis or something? Where your gut, it's the same thing that makes food go down your throat. It's there's muscles inside and you all move in one direction, kind of like pulse, vibrate in one direction. So but they're having to do more of that to fucking blast stuff out the door. If you're not, but what you can do is, they sell these little like baby steps so that when you can sit on your Western toilet, but you put your legs up on this fucking step thing.
Yeah,
and then that
shit still with it.
Shit stool, yeah.
Shit stool, poo stool.
Poo stool, which is funny because stool is another word for poo, so it's a stool. There you go. I feel so fucking sick. Yeah.
I know.
Nasty, man.
Let's change the topic.
Yeah. Let's see if we can find something
Wow.
less disgusting than shit.
Did I say this last week? I don't know. Or did I say this to you? I think I said it to you on a voice note. But remember I said about the advertising about the vegetables.
Oh yes, there was no
Did I say it on the
apples. We were
podcast?
saying,
Yeah, did I say it on the podcast or did I-
I believe we did have a 40 or 50-minute conversation about the lack of Apple advertising.
No, but when I saw the advert, did I voice noted you,
No.
didn't I?
I can't remember. I think you voice noted me, but you didn't talk to me about it on camera.
Oh, okay, right.
That was our offline
So-
lives, Chanel. The secret
Oh.
evil lives, where we're completely different characters. We're actually nice people.
But yeah, so I was like, I'm confused, right? So anyway, so once again, with mum and TV's on, and I'm like, hold on, what? Pink Lady Apples have an advert, and I'm
They
like,
heard you. They heard you. You see, you're an
they
influencer.
obviously. I said, look, if I start seeing fucking broccoli, cucumber, I don't give a shit, mate. They're listening. I know they're listening, but like they're really listening because why? Like I've never seen. Like I said, I hadn't seen it in whatever episode it was, and I was talking about the fruit and veg not advertising what they should advertise, blah blah blah. And I'm just like, this is weird. This is really weird. Like
That's
I know
a bit of a weird
comes into
coincidence.
existence. Like
You manifested it. You manifested
I
it, Chanel.
manifested that advert, and I was like, wow, okay, it doesn't really change my life, but maybe it will affect someone else's. So as long as it affects someone else's life in a positive way, and someone's like, oh, okay, so let's give my child an apple instead of a bar of chocolate.
Maybe so, Chanel.
Yeah,
Now, but I got a question for you that I didn't ask you at the time. Was with the advertisement for the Pink Lady, like what was it? What was it like? I've never seen one of these before. Was it you know, a cartoon? Did a lady in a pink dress come in and be like, here's the apple?
No, it was pretty basic, to be fair. All I can remember is like catching like the last bit of it, because I didn't really, the advert was on and I didn't realize what it was until it got to the end, and I was like, what?
Oh.
What?
And you thought it was going to take a turn and be like Aldi or be like something else, but it turned into a Pink Lady. Is that what you're saying?
I just wasn't paying any attention to it. Yeah, and then in the corner it said, like, Pink Lady apples, pick them up at your local supermarket or something like that today. And I was just like, So yeah, it was a basic advert. It wasn't anything like, woohoo.
You weren't overly impressed, Chanel. Jesus, you're fucking...
Well, it wasn't. No, but it was like, it was to the point. It wasn't. They didn't have to oversell it, which that was my whole point in the beginning. Like, you don't have to oversell. Like, Pink Lady apples, they freaking rock, man. They taste real good.
Hey, I'm a fan.
I actually have some in my kitchen now. Like, they taste real good. So they didn't have to oversell. So that was my whole point. It's like, you don't have to be like, oh, this broccoli is the greatest. Oh my God, look at the broccoli. Look at the dancing broccoli. Like, you don't have to. Just basically be like, you know, tastes good. Buy it. Feed your kids. It gives you this vitamin, that vitamin. Buy it, cook it, steam it. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree with you. Also, I feel like you secretly signed some kind of sponsorship deal with fucking Pink Lady apples where you're going on about them. I've got some in my kitchen right now. They're great. I thought you would imagine you're going to pick one up and show it to the camera.
I'll be like, oh, this is the Pink Lady apple.
But that's okay. So yeah, all right. Yeah, but but that's what we were saying. Yeah, it doesn't need to be an over the top, flashy advertisement. But there you go. So they are. See, but Chanel, my personal opinion on this is it's interesting because it kind of splits the difference between you believe in a more of an all-seeing conspiratorial government, and I don't believe in that as much. What this has proven is that yes, the government is spying on everything we say. You're right on that part. But all they're using this information for is selling us apples. So in terms of misallocation of government resources, I'm right in the sense that they're completely incompetent. Now we've got them. Oh, they'll all be eating Pink Lady apples out of our hands soon. The New World Order. You know, the what is it? They have the globe in the head with the suit, but it'll just be a Pink Lady apple, the Pink Lady conspiracy. That's
so
I'll be looking out.
It's nice to know that they're
paying
they're
attention.
listening.
They're paying attention.
You know, yeah, it's nice.
See you when
It's
you're
nice
sleeping.
to know. It is.
They know when you're awake.
And it's so freaking true. It's so true. Yeah, but
very much so.
I was happy. I was like, okay, cool.
Good for you.
That's all right
Good for
with
you.
me. Totally fine.
Oh my God.
No problems there. But yeah,
Poo, man. See,
good
this is
time.
we've hit poo now. Where else are we gonna hit? You know, once you've had a fucking 40-minute conversation about shit, you know, that's it. Bottomed out.
Yeah, but, well, I was thinking like we could talk about poo all day because I could talk about poo all day,
Mate,
but I just don't think that
love
our
it.
listeners,
I love it.
all 5 of them, would want to hear us talk about
I
poo all day.
know
So,
that one of our listeners particularly
yeah.
dislikes that, and I, you know, part of me sympathizes with that, but other part of me loves it when I'm having a disgusting conversation. Sometimes it can be sex, sometimes it can be poo. I'm a man of many complex sides, but I quite love it when another party is disgusted, which is horrible, which is the sadistic part of me. But if I'm talking about bums and willies and you look horrified, I love it. It tickles me. It tickles me!